Alex and I first met roughly 7 years ago and quickly became close friends. Both of us were raised in the Midwest, where our strong Christian beliefs place God above everything, even family. Our Sundays were filled with church visits and hopeful talks about our future. I pursued a successful career as an engineer with good prospects, while Alex excelled in her job selling accounting software for a major tech firm based in Dallas. Before our marriage, my parents generously gifted me a three-bedroom house upon my college graduation. With their wealth, they aim to share their success while still alive. Unlike many who wait until after they pass away, Mom and Dad found joy in giving during their lifetime. Alex and I got married a little over 5 years ago, and since then, we've been on an endless honeymoon. Our lovemaking was frequent and passionate, happening at least 4 nights a week. We were seen as soulmates, much to the amusement of our friends who envied our closeness. Our joy doubled when we welcomed two beautiful blonde twin girls into our lives. After their arrival, our focus shifted entirely to raising them in a caring and loving environment. Some might say our lifestyle was boring. We usually ate at home most nights, went out on Friday and Saturday nights, and spent Sundays at church. Unlike others our age, we weren't interested in socializing or following fashion trends. Alex chose conservative clothes for work and home, saving our intimate moments for our bedroom. Our marriage was built on trust and honesty, forming a solid foundation. Alex, naturally affectionate, showed her love through gentle touches, kisses, and hugs, all of which I adored. We enjoyed sharing our feelings and cherished each other deeply. While raising twins was challenging, I cherished every moment with them. Though the twins stressed Alex at times, I happily supported her through any difficulties. Our partnership was based on good communication, ensuring we dealt with problems quickly. Life with Alex and our twin girls was going well. However, a week before the annual exhibition, Alex got a notice that she had to attend because others were sick with the flu. Despite her efforts to decline, she had no choice but to go because of the urgency. She expressed her regret, saying she was sorry to leave us for 3 days and that she tried to avoid it by talking to her boss. She mentioned how much she hated being away from us. I reassured her that we would manage fine without her for a few days and that we would miss her dearly. I helped her pack and accompanied her to the limo arranged by the company for her trip to the airport. Our marriage had always been solid, built on trust and honesty. There had never been any sign of her behaving in a way that wasn't loving or faithful. We shared everything openly and worked together as a team, especially when it came to our children. On the second night of the exhibition, I got a text from Jack, a colleague and friend who was at a cybersecurity event in Dallas. He mentioned Alex being at the exhibition and asked if I was supposed to be at the conference. He seemed curious about the trade show Alex was attending. I confirmed it was in Dallas, but wasn't sure of the exact name. Jack's messages left me wondering what he was trying to imply. His message contained 2 photos and a video. I sat frozen with fear. The first photo showed my wife in an outfit I didn't recognize, the shortest dress I'd ever seen her wear, showing off her chest with a deep neckline. She wore heels I didn't know. Her hair and makeup were perfect, making her look stunning. I had never seen her look so attractive. At first, I thought it must be someone who looked like Alex, as it seemed impossible it could be her. I laughed to myself, thinking, I wish Alex would dress like that one day. But the amusement faded when the next photo came up, a close-up of her sitting next to Richard, one of her bosses. I sat there shocked, unable to move or blink until the next photo appeared, a close-up of her smiling and looking into Richard's eyes. My heart sank at the sight. Though I tried to find a logical explanation, it was useless. The next message had a short video clip showing my wife kissing Richard, her arms around his neck while his hand was on her chest. In that moment, my mind exploded. It felt like my entire world had collapsed. Tears of anguish ran down my face, my heart raced, and I felt a wave of nausea. A message came through. Hey, are you okay? What should I do? Can you see her right now? Yes, I'll give her a call right away to check on her. I dialed her number, hearing it ring several times before reaching voicemail. Leaving a message, I expressed our longing to speak with her and hoped she had a pleasant evening. I updated Jack on the call. I just tried reaching her. What happened? Jack's remorse was clear. David, I'm sorry about this. She took her phone out of her purse, glanced at the caller ID, then put it back. I can't believe it's her. I've never seen her behave or dress like this before. Jack, it's okay. Thank you for being honest with me. You're a true friend. I'll handle this myself. If possible, avoid confronting her. Keep me informed if anything else happens, but don't waste time following her. I'll handle it from here. Are you going to be okay, buddy? No, I'm far from okay, but I know what I need to do. I'll handle it. I'm still in shock, but I'll come to terms with everything. Thanks again. Anytime. I'm here for you. Take care of yourself. I poured a stronger drink and sat in the dimly lit living room, grappling with the sudden collapse of my world in under 20 minutes. I had been oblivious to any issues in our relationship. How long had this been going on? Was I truly blind to the signs? No, she never gave me cause for concern. In fact, over the past 6 months, our bond had grown stronger, our closeness had intensified. None of it made sense, leaving me bewildered. In the following hour, Jack sent more photos and videos. A brief clip showed them dancing, his hand on her back. Another showed them kissing on the dance floor. A photo showed a deep, private kiss on an empty dance floor, unaware that the music had ended. I accepted it was over between us, yet there was much I needed to unravel and understand. Using my analytical skills as an engineer and problem solver, I spent the next days devising a plan. Alex surprised me with a call at 10 p.m. After getting their final photo, I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. I decided not to show any sign that I knew about her actions. Hey there, sorry I missed your earlier call. I was at a dinner meeting and couldn't talk. I miss you so much, baby. Wish I could be there with you, cuddling under the covers, showering you with kisses. I miss you too, Alex. I love you deeply, and thanks for calling. The girls are adorable, and I'll send you some photos. They're missing their mom and want you to come home. I tried to leave tomorrow, but my boss insisted I stay. Hate being away from you, darling. We'll celebrate when you're back. Finished for today. Yes, I'm getting ready for bed and another long workday. Love you, baby, and I'll call you tomorrow. Good night, Alex. I love you more than words can express. With that, I hung up, tears welling up again. What I said was true. I loved her more than anything and hoped this was just a terrible dream. Past midnight, I lay in bed, unable to sleep. I wondered if she was really in her hotel room and what she was up to. My question was answered by another message from Jack. It was a photo of Alex and Richard on a lobby sofa, sharing a kiss. His hand was under her short skirt, her arms around his neck. They looked like a couple in love, publicly showing their affection. And one last thing, buddy. I'm done for today, but it looks like she's busy. Let me know if you want me to stop. I can easily put an end to this. It's tough to face right now, but thanks for the photos. No need. Let her go. It's her fault, not yours. Stay out of it. Thanks again. I cried myself to sleep, knowing that the love of my life had betrayed me. Eventually, exhaustion and the comfort of our marriage vows and our daughter's sleep eased the pain and tears until I woke up the next morning. Alex sent me several loving messages with hearts, kisses, and emojis. She professed her love, saying how much she missed both me and the girls. She even hinted at a passionate night ahead upon her return. When she came back, she showered me with sweetness and affection, behaving as though nothing had happened. I began to wonder if perhaps she had a split personality or had been unknowingly medicated. Despite my search for answers, I realized I needed to face reality and get ready for her return home. Our frequent conversations seemed normal, with Alex expressing her longing to be with us again. I couldn't decide what hurt me more, her infidelity or the deceit that came with it. Feeling deceived cut as deep as seeing her embrace with Richard. After learning of my wife's betrayal through Jack's messages, I took action. Using my tech skills, I discreetly installed tracking software on her phone, initially meant for finding lost devices. Choosing the latest software available, I even walked Alex through its setup. This software also had a voice recorder that could capture calls, text, and emails with automatic cloud uploads if activated. Let me clarify, my goal wasn't to spy on her, but the situation called for caution. Before this, I never thought of invading her privacy. However, after recent events, my trust had been shattered. My priority was protecting our daughters and saving our marriage if possible. Thankfully, caring for the twins kept me busy, offering a break from thoughts of our crumbling relationship. Whether it was making breakfast, cleaning up after them, or playing with dolls, these moments were precious amidst the chaos. Trust me, taking care of 3-year-old twins is no small feat. It was 2 p.m., and I finally got the girls to settle down for their afternoon nap. After cleaning the house and showering, I sat at the table to catch up. Alex had sent me 6 more loving messages, saying she would call at 5 p.m. once her day ended. After reading them, I accessed the cloud from my laptop, logged into her account, and reviewed everything recorded since activating the spying software. I sat in shock as I read the messages exchanged with Richard. Here are a few excerpts. "You were amazing last night, baby. Can't wait for tonight. Thanks, kitten. I enjoyed it too. Can we head to my room after work before dinner? Sure, but I need to call my husband first. I should be ready by 5:15. Does your husband suspect anything? Of course not. He thinks I love him, and I'll keep it that way. We've kept it a secret for over 6 months, and he's clueless. Don't worry." My anger became overwhelming, prompting me to stop reading. Kitten, did he call her kitten? That's my term for her during intimacy. Did she give him that too? Was I truly that blind? What kind of fool was I? I dropped my laptop on a chair and screamed, grabbing a lamp from the table and throwing it forcefully into the wall, shattering it into pieces. The rage I had managed to control now consumed me. As I was about to break another lamp, I heard the girls crying. Their cries brought me back to reality, and I regained control. I rushed into the bedroom, holding both girls in my arms until they calmed down. After cleaning up the glass from my outburst, I let them play in the living room while I sat with another strong drink, reflecting on my actions. In my view, the marriage was beyond repair, and it was time to take action. I lacked the strength to listen to their conversations or review any more files, so I let them pile up in the cloud. I decided to play along with Alex, just as she had deceived me. My immediate plan was to act like a loving husband while planning my next steps. I intended to contact a divorce lawyer, hire a private investigator, and find a way to secure custody of the girls. Their well-being was my top priority and the only thing that truly mattered to me. "Hey, sweetheart, how are the girls holding up? They're missing their mommy. Oh my goodness, they're on my mind all day, every day. And of course, you too. I can't wait to wrap my arms around you when I get back. I'm going to give you the warmest kiss you've ever had." I played along, saying, "Oh darling, I think of you constantly, longing to embrace my loving, beautiful wife. Soon, my love, we'll be reunited." Somehow, I kept it together, and our call lasted precisely 15 minutes. At 5:15, she said goodbye, saying, "I love you, David. I have to go catch the bus back to the hotel. I'll message you later. I love you too, sweetheart, more than you can imagine." The pain of her deception had now turned into contempt, anger, and a desire for revenge. I was determined to expose her lies and hold her accountable. I had loved her completely, making this betrayal even harder to bear. I greeted her at the airport, and she hugged and kissed me just as she had promised. Either she was an excellent actress, or she genuinely cared for me deeply. Was her involvement with Richard just physical? Her behavior continued to confuse me. She spent an hour with the girls, enjoying their company. That night, she was exceptionally affectionate in bed, repeatedly expressing how much she missed me and the girls and regretting her time away. She spoke of wanting nothing more than to be with me, holding each other in bed. She was tender, loving, and entirely different from the woman I saw at the exhibition. I returned her affection and cherished our time together. It felt real, and I longed for it to be true because being with her was all I wanted. Yet deep down, I knew it would soon end. I kept my new knowledge hidden, showering her with love and fulfilling her every night. To outsiders, our relationship seemed perfect, sparking envy in others. This charade continued for 3 months, during which I looked for any signs of infidelity but found none. She came home from work at her usual time every evening, no unusual phone calls or text messages. I even dared to hope it was all a mistake and things would resolve themselves. Mr. Johnson, a private investigator, called me and arranged to meet the next day. I drove downtown to their office and sat in their conference room. "Good afternoon, David. Good to see you again." "Likewise, Mr. Johnson." "David, I wish I had better news, but unfortunately, I have to deliver some bad news. Are you ready to go through our findings?" I sighed and nodded. While I hoped for the best, deep down, I knew what was happening between Alex and Richard. Mr. Johnson placed a thick binder in front of me. It had sections labeled text messages, voice transcripts, video calls, phone call transcripts, and photos. Mr. Johnson, before we start, I'm puzzled because I've been closely watching her activities and schedule for the past 3 months, and nothing seemed unusual. She's been the perfect wife and partner, and none of this makes sense. Let me guide you through this and see if anything becomes clearer. I hadn't accessed the cloud files because I couldn't bear the thought of reading the text, hoping for a positive outcome. Unfortunately, that hope was dashed. There were over 75 pages of text messages, 25 pages of emails, and 75 pages of timestamp photos showing them entering and leaving hotel rooms together. Additionally, there were over 82 video calls and 50 pages of phone conversations. Alex and Richard had been meeting at a motel at least 4 times a week for the past 3 months, spending an average of 2 hours together each time. It appears that for the past month, there have been 2 men meeting your wife 4 times a week. Do you recognize this man? Oh my God, is this Mark Sinclair? Is he the CEO of her company? Are you saying she's involved with 2 men, one of whom is the CEO? He played the video on the big screen. There was Alex, my wife, leaning over the railing with her CEO standing behind her. I felt sick to my stomach. I had to leave the room for a few minutes to compose myself. I returned to the conference room, urging them to continue, as I was now eager to see what my wife had been up to. The video labeled Balcony 2 shows your wife with both Mark and Richard at the same time. I regret having to show you all this, but since they were in public, you can use these videos if you decide to proceed with your divorce and custody battle. I sat there, mouth open, still finding it hard to believe it could be Alex. I prayed it was all just a big mistake. David, we've looked into Richard Wills and Mark Sinclair. Richard has been married for 10 years with 4 young children. Mr. Sinclair has been married for 25 years with 3 grown children. Text messages show that Richard introduced Mark into their activities after your wife showed interest in a threesome. It's pretty grim, so I'll leave you to review it when you're ready. Here's the folder and a USB drive with all the files and videos your lawyer will likely need. When I met with my lawyer, she was shocked at the amount of evidence we had and couldn't believe there were no signs of infidelity at home. At home, Alex continued to act like a devoted wife and mother, behaving as if everything was normal. The lawyer outlined various legal options based on the evidence I provided, but needed time to explore our options fully, scheduling another appointment for the next week. I instructed her to start filing the divorce papers as soon as possible. Leaving her office, I felt a pit in my stomach. I knew it was over before these meetings, but watching those videos killed any hope of reconciliation. I was still confused who was this woman. Later that evening, after putting the girls to bed, we watched an old movie I found on Netflix called Unfaithful. I heard it was a good film. Let's give it a shot, I suggested, hitting play. Given the film's theme of infidelity, I had prepared for the conversation in advance. During the movie, I casually mentioned a female intern at my office who had been showing interest in me for months. Can you imagine me with another woman? I chuckled. Alex eyed me suspiciously. Really? Who? If I catch you even thinking about being with her, I'm leaving. Got it. You're mine and no one else's, she asserted sternly. Despite my attempts to keep the mood light, she was dead serious. She made it clear that she wouldn't tolerate any deceit. It was astounding how indignant she was about it, considering her own actions. It was driving me mad. David, why didn't you tell me about her sooner? What's her name? Alex, relax. She's just an intern, a young flirtatious girl. I've completely ignored her. What about you, Alex? You're the most beautiful woman in your office. Do you mean to tell me no one ever flirts with you? So, in our entire marriage, you never entertained the thought of being with another guy or did anything like that? Not even a friendly kiss? Have you ever cheated on me, baby? Her anger flared. Are you kidding me? Did you seriously just ask me that? I constantly express my love for you. I'm always faithful to you, and I couldn't imagine being with another man. You're being ridiculous. I can't believe you'd even think that. I apologized, agreeing with her, and resumed watching the movie. I chuckled to myself, thinking she could have been an actress with how convincing she was. No wonder she excelled at her job. Once things settled down, she leaned against my shoulder again, and I knew it was time. I grabbed my phone, opened the messaging app, and selected a photo of Alex and Richard kissing on the dance floor, his hand on her behind. I was studying the photo when she noticed my distraction. Because what I'm looking at is more real. What do you mean? I muted the movie and displayed the photo to her. She froze, attempting to speak but failing. I kept my gaze on the photo. Quite the passionate kiss you're giving Richard. Allow me to explain. Where did you get this? You were dining with your buddy Jack Stanton, who spotted you with that guy in the restaurant. He texted me to confirm if it was you, or if he was mistaken. Turns out it was indeed you, and he sent me this. Also, gotta say, you look stunning in that dress. I've never seen you in something so revealing. Were you trying to impress your boyfriend? Oh, you have an explanation? I'm all ears, I remarked, placing the phone back on my lap. Baby, we only had one dance, and he was intoxicated. After the song ended, he grabbed me and kissed me. What you don't see is that right afterward, I slapped him and caused a scene. I would never allow that to happen. I actually bought this dress for a business dinner, but didn't realize how revealing it was until now. I'm so sorry. I understand it happens, and that was the only incident. I sensed her wavering confidence and reassured her. Yes, baby, and he won't try it again. The movie resumed, and I reclined quietly, knowing Alex was uneasy. After a few minutes, I retrieved my phone and began playing a video of them sitting on the couch, his hand under her skirt. She shot me a frightened look. What are you watching now? Remember that night when you called, saying you had a long day and were getting ready for bed? Yes, she whispered. It's interesting. I received another text from Jack 2 hours after your call, and this time it was a video. Do you want to see? I asked, hitting play, revealing her and Richard kissing while his hands roamed her intimate areas that should have been mine alone. I'm eager to hear a new explanation, I remarked, smiling. My anger had dissipated, replaced by contempt and amusement at her response. Oh, David, I'm so sorry. After we hung up, Richard called, saying we needed to discuss an issue with a client we were meeting in the morning. He asked me to meet him in the lobby to prepare. I barely recall this video because I had a few drinks and got a bit drunk. You know how I get when I'm intoxicated. I understand the video looks bad, but nothing happened beyond that. I distinctly recall going to my room, telling him to stop, reminding him I was happily married, and leaving. Nothing happened. You have to trust me. That's part of the issue, kitten, I said, emphasizing the nickname. I noticed her reaction when I said that and continued. The problem is I've always believed you, yet in the last 20 minutes, you've lied to me twice. Can you understand my perspective? I'm here alone, and the woman I love is kissing her boss in 2 photos, dressed in the most revealing outfit I've ever seen her wear. How do you think I feel, baby? David, I love you. This happened 3 months ago. Why didn't you confront me earlier? Honestly, I wanted to see if you'd come clean on your own. I wanted assurance that my wife was as truthful and honest as we've always been with each other. But now I see where we stand. Are there any other lies? Are you involved with him? Do you love him? I added discreetly, hitting the record button on the phone. David, hear me out. Nothing beyond a kiss happened. I admit I kissed him, as you saw, but that was the extent of it. Each time I told him to stop. I'm not sure what Jack saw or told you, but you have to trust me. All right, stop crying, baby. I trust you. However, I'm puzzled by your attire. You never dress like that for me, nor do you style your hair and makeup that way. Was it for him? You haven't answered my question. Do you have feelings for him? Are you considering leaving me? Alex? Please, I need the truth. I can understand that, but why didn't you inform me about Richard and your interactions? Since nothing truly occurred and I ended it, I didn't want to upset you. He's my superior, and I couldn't risk losing my job. If anything happened, if it truly did, I would have told you immediately. You understand, right? I comforted her with a kiss and embraced her gently, allowing her to cry. This marked the beginning of a month-long scheme to exact my revenge. That night, we made love, and I reveled in her remarkable skills, detached as her spouse and envisioning myself as one of her lovers. I refused to deny myself her body or caution her about anything peculiar. Her acting was commendable, but at that moment, I was indifferent. She was more fervent than ever, attempting to convince me of my exclusive place in her heart. This routine persisted for the following weeks. Each night, her performance was flawless, and I simply savored the spectacle. The next morning, I checked the cloud for any correspondence with Richard. Predictably, she didn't disappoint. Oh my God, someone took photos of us at the exhibition and sent them to David. His friend saw me at the restaurant without David. I'm unsure if he's aware, but the video showed us kissing. Damn, now that you mention it, I recall a man with a phone across from us observing, but I didn't think much of it. How did David react? Nothing. I convinced him nothing happened. I intervened. He's unaware I spent the night in your room. I persuaded him it was drink-induced and made amends. He's easily swayed. A few kisses and good love-making have always sufficed. Be cautious, baby. We agreed to meet there tomorrow at 1 p.m. As usual. Can't wait. Love you, baby. That marked the final message, and I sat silently, pondering it all. Undoubtedly, I felt like the world's biggest fool, yet there's a certain satisfaction in revenge. So, I proceeded with determination. However, I took pleasure in observing Alex's antics and awaited to see how many more lies she would spin. Naturally, my first course of action was to tend to my financial affairs, transferring funds, closing accounts, and the like. I opted to keep my primary Visa card active, but slashed the limit to $2,500 to mitigate potential damage. Since Alex remained clueless about my mounting anger, she never anticipated any changes. I confirmed with my lawyer that since the house was mine pre-marriage, I wouldn't be compelled to leave upon notification. Naturally, I drafted the infamous email containing videos, texts, and photos that I eventually sent to all her contacts' friends, family, and co-workers. Additionally, I crafted duplicate binders from my personal account for Mrs. Sinclair and Mrs. Wills to share in their anguish. These would be distributed simultaneously with notifications and legal filings. I instructed my lawyer to gear up for public civil lawsuits against both Richard, her boss, and Mark, the company's CEO. Given the company's prominence on the East Coast, my lawyer relished the prospect of involving the CEO. We planned to propose a settlement before unveiling the CEO and manager's alleged misconduct with employees. Collaborating with child services attorneys, we aimed for full custody and diligently compiled documents for the investigation. Over the next weeks, everything seemed normal. We took care of the children and spent quality time together every day. Our conversations skirted around the main issue, leaving it unspoken. I'm sure my silence on the matter drove her to the brink of madness. The uncertainty of my thoughts must have been agonizing. To further toy with Alex, I asked a few probing questions. Having gleaned insights from her conversations with Richard, I marveled at her ability to maintain her facade of deceit. It was amusing to watch her reaction, and now I could even predict when she was about to lie. She responded calmly, saying that nothing had happened. It felt strange because both of us were acting as if nothing had happened, which was true. In reality, he remained completely professional, and our interactions were minimal due to our busy schedules. I sat there with a wry smile, still astonished that the woman who bore my children and whom I loved could lie so effortlessly. That night, I released the last remnants of the anger simmering within me. I confronted her and took full advantage of her that night. Oh my God, David, what got into you? You're behaving so wildly today. I've never seen you so bold and uninhibited. I enjoyed it. What a whirlwind. I thought to myself, I knew this would be the final encounter before all of this turmoil surfaced the next day, and I intended to take everything I could from my soon-to-be ex-wife. That afternoon, the sheriff entered the office of Tricom International and requested to see Mr. Sinclair. Moments later, Sheriff Clark handed him an envelope. A moment later, Sinclair found himself alone in his spacious office, clutching the envelope with fear gripping his entire being. After reading the complaint repeatedly, he promptly instructed his secretary to summon Jason to his office while simultaneously calling him. Jason, too, had just been served by the same sheriff. He rushed into Sinclair's office, and they both stood there, stunned and bewildered. "What the hell, David? I'm speaking to you. What's your response? Are you dropping the charges?" Just then, the phones of both Jason and Richard began to ring. It was their wives on the line. Sinclair's face reddened, shooting me a glare of fury. Richard, visibly shaken, even teared up. Alex, bewildered, questioned me about the commotion. His response was cryptic. "Check your email in a few minutes, and I believe you'll understand." After ending the call with his wife, Sinclair pointed an accusatory finger at me. "You're dead, David. I'll slit your throat and watch you die like a dog." With that threat, he stormed out of the bar. Richard, confronting me, uttered a plaintive, "Why? Why would you do this to me?" I was astounded by the question. "Seriously? You've been using my wife, the love of my life, and the mother of my twin girls, every day for the past 6 months, arranging tryst with Sinclair, and you're surprised someone would retaliate. Everything I sent to your sweet wife was for her sake, to expose what a depraved beast of prey you are, and how you've destroyed countless lives." Alex's phone began ringing as her sister, brother, and aunt called her shortly afterward. They all watched the videos and photos and had numerous questions. Initially, Alex denied knowledge of the situation, but then checked her email to see what I had sent. Her jaw dropped, and she shot me an angry look. "How could you do this to me? You've made it too easy, darling. I truly love you, but it's over between us. After I hand this audio recording of the meeting to the authorities and social services, my lawyer is confident I'll secure full custody of the girls, and you'll be fortunate to avoid jail time. I'm sorry, but you must face the consequences of your actions." To prevent them from becoming public knowledge, Tricom resolved the lawsuit by compensating David Hunter with $2 million. Mark Sinclair was ousted as CEO and terminated without severance due to breaching the morals clause in his contract. He suffered losses exceeding $10 million in stock options and forfeited a $5 million severance package. Sinclair also received a 5-year sentence for conspiracy to commit homicide and other charges. His wife divorced him while he was incarcerated and financially decimated him. Upon investigation of his business dealings, he exited prison destitute, bereft of family, and homeless. This news provided me with some solace, and he even cracked a smile for the first time in months. Mrs. Bureau Wills also divorced Richard, leaving him without money, shelter, child support, or half of his income in alimony. He was fined $1 million in a civil trial for conspiracy, infidelity, and loss of affection. Following his job loss, Richard resorted to working as a day laborer. Learning of Richard's downfall further gratified me, who took pleasure in Richard's subsequent bankruptcy and life under an overpass among day workers. Alex received a 5-year prison sentence, but with mine assistance, it was commuted to 1 year of house arrest, followed by 4 years of probation for conspiracy. She lost custody of the children, and I gained full custody. Despite her efforts, she failed to secure a divorce due to the evidence and the nature of the crime. With the house belonging to me, she found herself homeless upon termination. She earned the same amount as I, so no child support was necessary. Alex spiraled into a profound depression and now resides in her mother's basement. Her family turned against her for her actions, resulting in the loss of her visitation rights with her children. The email I sent with the attached videos and photos exposed a dark side of Alex that no one had recognized before. This had the intended effect, completely shattering the support network within the Alex family. Forgiveness seems unattainable for Alex, even from herself. She relies on medication following 3 suicide attempts and has been in and out of mental hospitals for the past 6 months, struggling to come to terms with the lives she contributed to destroying. I now dedicate all his time to his daughters. Being free from work post-divorce allows him to focus entirely on raising his children. Since Alex's suicide attempt, the girls have not seen their mother, but they receive ample support from David's sister and mother. They will recover from this traumatic ordeal without any lasting effects. While revenge brought a fleeting sense of satisfaction, it cannot fully heal my wounds. He still harbors love and forgiveness for Alex, but the memory of her betrayal remains etched in his mind. Taking care of his daughters keeps him busy and wards off loneliness. However, due to the betrayal, lies, and deceit, it will take years before I can open his heart to love and trust again. It's remarkable how seemingly small actions can have profound effects on many lives. Caution is essential in maintaining relationships and avoiding the devastating consequences of betrayal. Well, folks, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the content as much as I enjoyed making it. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment below with your thoughts and tell me your stories. I'd love to hear them. Cheers, and see you in the next one.